Chapter 41 If you can't beat me, report it. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Amidst the tense expressions of the three of them, Lu Xuan took out a handful of spirit stones from his sleeves and enthusiastically thrust them towards the mid-level Qi training monk. Three fellow Taoists, it's been too hard to check all the way here. There are a few spiritual stones here. It's not respectful. I would like to invite these three fellow Taoists to have a cup of spiritual tea. The most sincere and enthusiastic smile appeared on Lu Xuan's face. The leading mid-level Qi training monk couldn't refuse, so he accepted it and gently weighed the spirit stones in his hands. The experienced man knew the approximate number instantly, and a satisfied smile appeared on his face. Seeing him accept the spirit stone, Lu Xuan relaxed a little. He didn't want these three people to enter his spiritual field and see rare and precious spiritual plants such as sword grass and dark marrow mushroom, so as not to be coveted by others and cause trouble, if he refuses with force. He is confident that with the same fifth level of Qi training, coupled with the first grade special magical weapon split silver blade, the second grade talisman sword Qi 1000 talisman and the thunder fire bead, he can kill three people in an instant, but he couldn't bear the subsequent impact. After all, there were many people around and it was impossible to deal with the three of them without knowing it. If this road doesn't work, then the only option is bribery. 20 spiritual stones can eliminate a possible disturbance, which is still acceptable. With a fake smile on his face, he kept the three of them in mind, especially the leading mid-level Qi training monk, and secretly determined to get back double the money if he had the chance. The mid-level Qi training monk put all 20 spirit stones into his storage bag without leaving a trace. The two third-level Qi training monks next to him looked as normal, as if they hadn't seen it. I see that you, fellow Taoist, are a talented and honest person, and you will definitely not be associated with evil spirits. How about this? Let my two men go through the motions and enter your yard for a casual look. The mid-level Qi training monk said to Lu Xuan with a smile. Lu Xuan was stunned for a moment, understanding the implication of his words, and suddenly there was an unknown anger in his heart. I've given you 20 spirit stones. You can just swallow them alone. You want me to feed 2 more of your men, so you're not afraid of filling your stomach. That if he was just planning to regain his position just now, after the mid-level Qi training monk said this, Lu Xuan had a strong idea of killing the 3 people. He led 2 third-level Qi training monks into the courtyard and gave each of them 5 spiritual stones. They glanced at each other casually and left with satisfaction. My spirit stones are not so easy to earn. Lu Xuan followed the 2 of them out of the yard, looked at the 2 figures from behind, and sneered in his heart. Just as the 3 of them were about to go to another courtyard, suddenly, Wang Shan walked out of his home. When he saw the mid-level Qi training monk, his eyes lit up. Senior brother Tan, why are you here and why didn't you come into the room to see me? Wang Shan, whose face was red and glowing, came over with a smile. Isn't there a mission requirement from above? Isn't it because we are busy with official business? There are endless evil figures in the city, so I have to come out and check more. Junior brother Wang Shan, long time no see, your cultivation is much deeper. The mid-level Qi training monk responded with a smile. I see, this fellow Daoist Lu is my neighbor. He always loves to cultivate spiritual plants. He is simple and honest. Brother Tan, you didn't make things difficult for him, did you? How is that possible? Brother Lu is a very upright person at first glance, so it is naturally impossible for him to be involved with evil spirits. The mid-level Qi training monk surnamed Tan said without mentioning the fact that he had just acquired 20 spiritual stones from Lu Xuan. That's fine if you don't. Let me introduce you to each other. This is fellow Taoist Lu Xuan, a third-level Qi practitioner and a spiritual planter. This Tan Xiaodong is the deacon in charge of security in Fang City. He has profound cultivation and has been on the 5th level of Qi training for many years. He is considered my senior brother. Wang Shan introduced each other's identity to each other. I have admired you for a long time. Fellow Taoist Tan is selfless and dedicated to his responsibilities. It is a blessing for many monks in the city to have such a highly skilled deacon to protect him. Lu Xuan said yin and yang. Wang Shan, why didn't you come out earlier? If you had come out earlier, I might have saved dozens of spirit stones, and your senior brother's life could have been saved. He couldn't help but curse in his heart, feeling very sorry for the 30 spiritual stones he had lost. Ouch! In the yard, when Wang Shan came in, cloud-stepping Lynx, who had been staying quietly in the corner, suddenly growled. Quiet! Lu Xuan gently patted the gray hair on its pointed ears. The cloud-stepping lynx cub stared coldly at Wang Shan and the others with a pair of green pupils. It stopped roaring and just kept baring its teeth. After a few words of conversation, Wang Shan and Tan Xiaodong left together. After the figures of the few people disappeared, the cloud-walking lynx cub calmed down, regained its graceful posture, and jumped lightly, and 4 white clouds fell on Lu Xuan's shoulders. Don't scream randomly in the future, do you understand? Lu Xuan took it down, put it on the ground, and pulled the hair on the tip of its ears. Ouch! The blue-eyed cloud-stepping lynx pinched its throat and tried to make a clipping sound. Lu Xuan suddenly noticed something was wrong. He clearly remembered that when Wang Shan came in just now, the lynx cub's cry was not as artificial as it was now, but rough and straightforward. Except for the first time such a roar was made in front of him, this sound only appeared 3 times. The 2 times were when Wang Shan entered his courtyard, and the other time was when he found an alienated monk in the market. His expression instantly turned grim. That time at the market, the lynx cub discovered something strange about the monk. Did he also discover something when he roared when he encountered Wang Shan twice? Did you find anything from that neighbor? Lu Xuan thought of the magical emerald green eyes of the lynx, and asked it. The cloud-stepping lynx is a strange beast with a high level of intelligence. It stared at its round pupils and nodded its little head. Same as the alienated monk in the market. Lu Xuan continued to ask. The cub nodded first, then shook his head. What does it mean to nod and shake your head? By the way, the time point when the monk in the market was alienated was after the many monks who cultivated the secret realm came back, and the evil spirits broke out. The lynx had roared to remind me when he saw Wang Shan before. Nodding means that there is evil spirit or other abnormality in Wang Shan's body. Shaking his head means that he is different from the alienated monks in the market. Lu Xuan made a rough guess. There is such a time bomb around me. How should I deal with it properly? Is it better to block it with soldiers or to cover it with water or soil, or should I strike first? Standing still would be too passive. You can only be a thief for 1,000 days, but there is no way to prevent a thief for 1,000 days. But if you strike first, I don't know if you can beat him. If Wang Shan only has the strength of the 5th level of Qi training, it would be fine, and there is great hope. But with the unknown evil spirit in his body, it will be unpredictable. Furthermore, Wang Shan is the patrol leader in Fang City and has an official background, so he can easily get involved. What's more important is that we still don't know what evil and weird things may be behind him. Lu Xuan was caught in a dilemma for a moment. Why not solve it? Living near Wang Shan, I have to worry all the time, and it is unrealistic to move out. After all, I paid so much rent to rent this yard. If it can be solved, it is easy to put yourself at risk. Is there a safe and effective method? Lu Xuan pondered secretly. Yes, hasn't Linyangfang City been vigorously cleaning up evil spirits recently? How about using this excuse to let them deal with it internally? If you can't beat me, I can report it. Chapter 42 Grass Puppets Guard the Spiritual Field. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I just want to farm quietly. Why do you have to disrupt my life? After getting Lingtian's special light group, Lu Xuan had the idea of being indifferent to the world, no longer try every means to compete with countless casual cultivators for an illusory opportunity. Therefore, he previously rejected the invitation from Zhang Hong and the spiritual plant master of Baikatang to explore the secret realm. On weekdays, he is kind to others and rarely goes out. Wang Shan is possessed by an evil spirit, which is very likely to destroy his current peaceful life, so Lu Xuan has to try to solve it proactively. Then to whom should I report Wang Shan? It must be obviously stronger than him, but not close to him. Lu Xuan pondered for a while and recalled that Wang Shan once scolded one of his bosses behind his back when he was drinking with him. He originally considered solving the problem through the relationship with Bai Chao Hall, but in the end he gave up. After all, he had just cooperated with Bai Chao Hall. He was a low-key person, had no impressive results, and did not know anyone in a high position. He was the only one he had good relations with. He Guancher's status is not that high. There is another point that we must pay attention to. We must hide our identity, lest in the end not only the report is not successful, but we are implicated. After having the target of the report, Lu Xuan secretly inquired about it and began to prepare for action. Sanxiufang City, North District Law Enforcement Hall, a huge building covering an area of more than 10 acres, it is full of spiritual energy and full of exotic flowers and plants. Ling Peng sat at the table, flipping through a weapon refining book in his hand. He usually likes to be quiet, so he specially chose a courtyard to work on the side of the law enforcement hall. There is a lush spiritual tree planted outside the window. He can look at it and relax his eyes when he has nothing to do. He is one of several high-level Qi training monks in the law enforcement hall. Most of the time he just sits in the hall and will only come forward when there is a large-scale evil attack. Suddenly, he let out a sigh, and a shield covered with gray and black scales flashed out of the storage bag and flew around him. The moment the gray-black shield appeared, a golden stream of light shot into the house like a sharp arrow. There was a ding sound. To Ling Peng's surprise, the golden stream of light did not rush towards him, but directly hit the beams in the house. Lingering for a long time. Who is so bold as to attack the monks of the law enforcement hall? A trace of anger appeared on Ling Peng's face, his shield flew automatically, and all his spiritual power was operating at its maximum. After a few breaths, there was no movement outside. Ling Peng looked at the golden sword energy on the beam with confusion. The sword energy has not dissipated for so long, which shows that the monk behind him has extraordinary attainments in the art of swordsmanship. Ling Peng sighed and found a piece of white paper the size of a palm nailed to the beam with golden sword energy. He dispersed the golden sword energy and used the art of controlling objects to control the white paper to float in front of him. There were 2 lines of crooked handwriting written on the white paper, which was obviously intentional. Wang Shan is feared to be contaminated by evil spirits, and Tan Xiaodong, who is responsible for the inspection, is most likely to deliberately cover it up. Ling Peng read out 2 lines of small characters in a low voice. A dark red flame suddenly appeared under the white paper, turning the white paper slightly black and gray. Is the information on this true or a hoax? I remember that Wang Shan is a mid-level Qi training monk in the hall. He is at the 5th level of Qi training, which is considered a middle-level position. If even he is polluted by evil spirits, disaster will most likely happen in the law enforcement hall. The possibility of a prank is really low. He looked at the faint traces left by the golden sword energy on the beams and thought in his mind. The sword energy exerted by the person behind was silent. Even my high-level spiritual sense, which is a high-level Qi training, was only discovered after I got closer. The sword energy had not dissipated for a long time and was coming menacingly, but it only left a shallow trace. It can be seen that he has been immersed in kendo for at least 10 years, and the sword Qi he masters is at the level of Xiaocheng or even Deshang. His cultivation level is probably at the advanced level of Qi training. After all, it is too difficult for a mid-level Qi training monk to have such a level of kendo skills. It's more difficult. So, we should do more research and pay attention to these 2 people. Ling Peng made a decision secretly. He jumped up, stepped under a red flying sword, and circled around the law enforcement hall, but did not find anyone suspicious. On the street not far away, Lu Xuan was walking slowly on the blue stone road. Not long after, a surge of spiritual consciousness swept across his body. With the help of the breath condensation technique, Lu Xuan only revealed the cultivation level of the 3rd level of Qi training at this time. His spiritual consciousness did not detect any abnormalities and disappeared in an instant. Lu Xuan walked at a normal pace without showing any panic. Sending such a message with the Gingjin Sword Ju of Deshang realm, I believe that the high-level Qi practitioner who has a similar relationship with Wang Shan will seriously consider my warning, and at least pay more attention to Wang Shan. As for Tan Xiaodong, who is not satisfied after swallowing my spiritual stone, let's put a stumbling block for him and wait until we find an opportunity to crush him with strength before we go to liquidate him. Lu Xuan reviewed his reporting action. With the help of the breath condensation technique, he silently came to the target monk without attracting any attention, used the Gingjin sword technique of the Deshang realm, took the warning content away, and then disguised himself as a third-level Qi training practitioner. Avoid possible investigation. It just depends on whether it can be effective. At this point, no matter whether Wang Shan's contamination by evil spirits is discovered or not, all Lu Xuan can do is to remain unchanged in response to changes and wait and see how things develop. Lingying grass, red cloud pine, sword grass, please mature quickly. He returned to the yard and looked at the dozens of fireflies that were almost mature in the spiritual field, as well as the 5 red cloud pine trees that were getting bigger and darker in color, as well as the upright and sword-like pine trees. Jianchao felt a lot more at ease. As long as the spiritual plant matures, I can continue to accumulate strength. When the time comes, even if the evil spirit in Wang Shan's body wants to harm me, I can just solve it on my own. At the edge of the Lingquan pool, a lynx with green eyes dug out an insect from nowhere, put down the insect, and then when 3 red-bearded carp came out to fight for it in the Lingquan pond, the snow-white soles of their feet flew by quickly, grabbing the insect back into the sole of their foot, and at the same time, they grabbed the long beard and pulled out the red-bearded carp. The long whiskers continue to expand and contract in the air, causing the red-bearded carp below to bounce up and down. If I tell you not to catch fish, you are dishonest. You are asking for a beating, right? When Lu Xuan saw this scene, he couldn't help but pat the pointed ears of the cloud-walking lynx cub. The cloud-stepping lynx cub put the red-whiskered carp back into the spiritual spring pond with a calm look, walked aside, and fiddled with the dying insect in the ditch of the spiritual field. Lu Xuan was worried that it would be unhappy after being hit by him, and its mind would focus on it. Ouch, I was touched by my master again today. This little guy. Lu Xuan burst out laughing. It turned out that the lynx caught the red-whiskered carp to attract his attention. Even if it was beaten once, it would be better than not encountering it all day. He had a sudden idea and came to the grass puppet who was patrolling the spiritual field. The grass puppet took the same steps and slowly circled around the spiritual field. After absorbing the grass spirit essence liquid, the grass puppet has changed a lot and even gained some intelligence. I don't know what its immediate state will be. Lu Xuan was curious and focused on the gray and black body of the grass puppet. Guard the spiritual field. Guard the spiritual field. Guard the spiritual field. The same words echoed in Lu Xuan's mind. I've been out all day today. Sorry, I only have one update. I'll make up for the missing ones tomorrow. Chapter 43 Fragrance Qing Miao Ling Tea. You are listening at novelfull.audio. You are really a good employee of mine who is so devoted to caring for the spiritual field. Lu Xuan felt the same words echoing in his mind, looked at the grass puppet who kept patrolling, and couldn't help but sigh. It must be heavily rewarded. He made up his mind, called the grass puppet over, fumbled in his arms a few times, and took out a broken spirit. After hesitating for a moment, he took out another one and stuffed it into the gray grass tumor on the grass puppet's huge head. Immediately, his mind focused on the grass puppet's body. Guard the spiritual field. Guard the spiritual field. What he read were still repetitive words, but compared to before feeding the broken spirit, Lu Xuan vaguely felt that the grass puppet felt a little more happy. In the next 2 days, Lu Xuan remained vigilant. The splitting silver blade and the 10,000 talisman of sword Qi were almost never out of his hands, but nothing happened. Everything was as usual. It seems that the report from 2 days ago never appeared. The fireflies in the Lingtian began to mature in large numbers, and Lu Xuan picked 12 plants. Among the 12 plants, 2 are of perfect quality, 6 are of excellent quality, and the other 4 are of good quality. Harvest a firefly plant and gain 6 months of cultivation. Asterisk 2. Harvest a firefly plant and gain the 9th month of cultivation. Asterisk 2.4 of the 12 white light groups were cultivation rewards, bringing Lu Xuan 2.5 years of cultivation in total. For thoughts flashed through Lu Xuan's mind, and waves of spiritual power emerged in his body, surging and impacting the meridians and dantian in his body. After a long time, the madly raging spiritual power gradually calmed down. Lu Xuan moved a little and felt the strong spiritual power filling his limbs and bones, and he felt a sense of peace of mind. With further cultivation, you will have greater confidence in the event of a head-on conflict with the evil spirit behind Wangshan. Harvest a spirit firefly grass and obtain a first-grade talisman sword chi talisman. *2. Harvest a spirit firefly grass and obtain a first-grade talisman, the Ice Thorn talisman. Harvest a spirit firefly grass and obtain a first-grade talisman to dispel evil. Thoughts flashed through his mind, and 4 different talismans appeared in Lu Xuan's hands one after another. Although it is only a first-grade talisman, it can only do moderate damage to mid-level Qi training monks, but as long as there are enough of them and all the talismans are used together, it can have a good effect. After Qin Ming consumed most of the talismans when he attacked him, Lu Xuan collected dozens more first-grade talismans during this period. Harvest a spirit firefly grass and obtain a first-grade gun gold sword technique. Harvest a spirit firefly grass and obtain the woodlife technique. *2. Among the remaining 4 white light groups, 3 of them opened spell experience packs, which made Lu Xuan's understanding of Gingjin's sword technique and mushing technique more profound and thorough. Gingjin's sword Ju has vaguely touched the threshold of the master realm, and its speed of casting, damage, and control capabilities have been further improved. The mushing technique has reached the level of proficiency. When it is used, one can see light green spiritual energy gathering on the branches and leaves of the spiritual plant. Compared with the beginning, the progress is rapid. Lu Xuan gently picked up the last white light group. The light group turned into countless light spots and disappeared into Lu Xuan's body, and a thought flashed through his mind. Harvest a spirit firefly grass and obtain a second-grade talisman, sword energy in thousands of talismans. A talisman engraved with countless subtle sword marks appeared in Lu Xuan's hand. The sword was so sharp that it seemed to come out of his body at any time. 2 perfect quality spirit fireflies. One of them has a second-grade sword chi 10,000 talisman. The other one is not sure whether it is a first-grade talisman or a gun gold sword Ju. It's pretty good. Lu Xuan put away the talisman and put the firefly grass in a jade box. There are currently 23 mature fireflies collected. To prevent loss of vitality, they must be sent to Baikatang for processing. Lu Xuan opened a courtyard formation, told the grass puppet to pay more attention, and then went out with the green-eyed lynx. Nowadays, an alienated monk appears outside from time to time, with a lynx cub accompanying him, which is more or less safe. In the Baichao Hall, the aroma of medicine was strong in the hall. No one in charge was seen, only a few medicine boys were handling the herbs. "Brother Lu, come here. Manager, he has something to do inside. Please sit down for a moment and I'll make you a pot of hot tea." A teenage medicine boy with sharp eyes saw Lu Xuan coming in and quickly greeted him. He brought a mahogany chair from the side and placed it next to Lu Xuan. He quickly brought a cup of steaming spiritual tea. "Good." Lu Xuan sat down and took the spirit tea. He could feel that compared to when he first came to Baichao Hall, the attitude of the medicine boys in the hall towards him had changed a lot. When he first came in, he was just a small casual cultivator on the second floor of Qi training. He brought a few ordinary quality spirit fireweeds with him and shamelessly begged Guanxi he to take them away. Several medicine boys in the hall didn't even look at them. Slowly, the number of times he came into Baikatang gradually increased, and only 1 or 2 medicine boys nodded in greeting when he came in. After he established a cooperative relationship with Baikatang, several drug boys suddenly became enthusiastic and took the initiative to greet them, as if they were friends they had known for many years. After continuously selling perfect-grade fireflies, he became even more enthusiastic, serving tea and water with meticulous attention. Lu Xuan clearly understood that the reason for such obvious changes was that he was able to grow a steady stream of high-quality spiritual plants. He understood in his heart, and also understood the value of He Guanxi and Zhang Hong's help in times of need. Before the tea was finished, He Guanxi walked in angrily. "Boy Lu, are you here? How many fireflies are brought here this time? How is the quality?" The thin old man asked curiously. "I brought 22 plants. The quality will definitely not disappoint you." Lu Xuan replied with a smile, he took out more than 20 fireflies from the storage bag and placed them on the counter. 9 good quality fireflies, 9 superior quality ones, and 4 perfect quality ones. Manager he carefully looked at them one by one, looked at Lu Xuan with complicated eyes, and sighed. Your kid is growing too fast. There are so many fireflies, but none of them are of ordinary quality. The minimum is good quality, and the probability of perfect quality is not low. It seems that the perfect quality firefly grass you handed over before was indeed not an accident. Being able to guarantee such planting efficiency all the time has surpassed most of the spiritual planters of Baikatang. You know, they spend twice or even several times more effort on spiritual planting than you. I also know that I am quite powerful, so how many spiritual stones can these firefly grasses be exchanged for? Lu Xuan supported his chin with his hand and looked at Guancher he who was still sighing with a smile. You brat, you're obsessed with money. It's still the same price. Let me do the math. It's a total of 77 spiritual stones and 30 broken spirits. Do you think it's correct? Mr. He, you must be right. Lu Xuan took the more than 70 spirit stones he handed over, swept the spirit stones and put them into the storage bag. Remember what I told you before. As long as you can steadily grow high-quality spiritual plants, you will have an opportunity. There are several spiritual plants in the hall. Entrust me to find one among the cooperating spiritual planters. I see that you are doing so well, so I plan to leave half of it for you. Oh. What spiritual plant? Lu Xuan asked curiously. Qing Miao Ling T. 2nd grade. Manager he said with a smile. Chapter 44 The Untold Secret. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 2nd grade spiritual plant. After hearing what the thin old man said, Lu Xuan couldn't help but sit up straight with a serious expression. Yes, the 2nd grade Qingmialing tea seedlings, the tea leaves picked after maturity have the effect of purifying the mind and making sense. It can resist the invasion and pollution of many types of evil spirits to a certain extent. It is very popular among middle-level and high-level monks who practice Qi. I have 6 seedlings in my hand, 3 of them have to be given to other spiritual plant masters in the hall, and the remaining 3 can be given to you at a low price if you are willing. Of course I do. Lu Xuan quickly agreed. Thank you, Mr. He, for leaving me this opportunity. He stood up and thanked the thin old man. You have earned this all by yourself. If I hadn't seen you able to grow high-quality spiritual plants stably, I wouldn't have given them to you. Guancher he looked at Lu Xuan with a trace of satisfaction in his eyes. Do you have a few questions to confirm before handing it over to you? Can you keep up with the spiritual energy concentration and area of the spiritual field you have? Qingmiao Lingcha is rather overbearing. No other spiritual plants are allowed around it, and the demand for spiritual energy is also relatively large. No problem. Lu Xuan replied decisively, there is still a small area left in the courtyard of the spiritual field. Planting 3 2nd-grade spiritual plants should not be a big problem. The spiritual energy is much richer and purer than the original spiritual field, and there is a spiritual spring for irrigation. More importantly, he can control the status of the spiritual plant at any time, and can make fine adjustments according to its needs to satisfy it. With the accumulation of various factors, planting 3 2nd-grade spiritual plants is naturally a piece of cake. It's okay if you don't. Just wait here and I'll come as soon as I can. The inner courtyard of Baikatang, in a spacious and bright house, 3 spiritual planters were sitting on wooden chairs, moving around from time to time, which showed that they were not in a peaceful mood. Why is he Guancher so stubborn? He has been holding on to the 3 Qing Miao Ling tea seedlings and won't let go. Fellow Daoist Zhou, calm down, there are few in Baichao Hall who are more suitable than us for growing Qingmialing tea. That's right, we have cooperated with Baikatang for many years and have rich experience in cultivating spiritual plants. If you don't leave it to us, who else can you leave it to? Then he Guancher is just selling it at a price, hoping to get some benefits. The three comforted each other and took a sip of the cooled spiritual tea in the teacup to calm down. Not long after, he entered the house. He Lao. *3. The three of them stood up at the same time and greeted them warmly. The three Taoist friends have gone back. I have told you a long time ago that there is already a suitable candidate for Qing Miao Lingcha. Why do you need to embarrass me? That when the three of them heard this, their expressions froze. After a long time, a dark-skinned middle-aged monk asked Steward he. I wonder which spiritual planter he intends to hand over the Qing Miao Lingcha. Could it be old Shen from the West District? Although he is experienced, he is already old and weak. I am afraid it will be difficult to successfully grow the Lingcha. No, he is a young man, less than 20 years old, in the prime of life. Puff, that a monk next to him could not help but spit out the herbal tea that he had not yet swallowed. Mr. He, are you too old and confused to hand over such an important second-grade spiritual plant to a young man who is less than 20 years old? Isn't it true that there is no return and 3 second-grade spiritual plant seedlings were lost in vain? The thin old man heard this and sneered. You three have been cooperating with Bai Keatang for a long time. Can you tell me how many years you have been cultivating elixirs? 20 years. I want 2 years less, 18 years. It's just a lack of talent, and it's been 25 years. The last monk said with a smile on his face. Then how much high-quality mature fireweed can be obtained when planting the firefly grass that is most in demand in Bai Keatang? I have roughly calculated before that about 30% of the cultivated fireflies are of ordinary quality, about 50% of them are of good quality, and the remaining 20% are of excellent quality. The results given by the other two were completely different from his. Where's the perfect quality one? Manager he asked leisurely. How can it be so simple with perfect quality? The requirements for spiritual planters and spiritual energy are too high. For casual spiritual planters, it is completely unattainable. Yeah, the thin old man curled his lips. But that young man has been involved in planting spiritual plants for less than 3 years. Among the fireflies he recently brought over, there are less than 40 fireflies. The lowest ones are of good quality, and there are even 8 of perfect quality. How can it be? The swarthy middle-aged monk blurted out with a shocked tone. How is it impossible? I personally inspect all the fireflies. Do you mean there is something wrong with my eyesight? Manager he frowned slightly and spoke sharply. The swarthy middle-aged monk licked his lips a few times, but in the end he didn't utter a rebuttal. What he said was too unbelievable to him. He himself has been a spiritual planter for more than 20 years, and he knows how rare it is to plant perfect quality spiritual plants, and that boy, out of a mere 30 firefly grasses, 8 were of perfect quality. How could he accept it all at once? But what Guanxi said so confidently made him have no choice but to believe it. The three of them looked at each other, and they could all see the doubts and helplessness between them. I wonder if the manager can introduce the young spiritual planter to us. One of them lowered his head and asked. He is in Bai Chao Hall now. If you have any questions, you can go and see for yourself. Seeing the attitude of the three, Guanxi he knew that they already believed most of them, so he came up with the idea of introducing Lu Xuan to the three of them, so that he could make more friends with fellow spiritual planters. When the three of them heard this, they hurriedly came to the hall and immediately noticed the handsome young man sitting at ease on the edge of the wooden cabinet. May I ask if you are fellow Taoist Lu Xuan? The swarthy middle-aged monk came to the young man's side, bowed and asked. Yes, that's right. Lu Xuan said in return. As expected, he is the best among men. It is reasonable to be able to grow the perfect quality firefly grass. The middle-aged monk glanced at the wooden cabinet and saw more than 20 excellent-looking firefly plants at a glance, and the last trace of hesitation in his heart disappeared. It's just a fluke whether I win or not. I have to ask fellow Taoists for advice on how to plant spiritual plants. Everyone carried the sedan chair. Lu Xuan replied politely. The three of them looked at each other with a wry smile on their lips. Friend Lu Dao, please stop making fun of us. You are a spiritual planter who has grown perfect quality. There is nothing else you need to ask us for advice. One of them hesitated and asked in a low voice. Friend Lu Dao, I would like to ask, how do you grow the perfect quality firefly grass? How to grow perfect quality fireflies? Lu Xuan looked troubled, and gently rubbed the thumb and index finger of his right hand, which finally turned into a sigh. This is a secret that is not told. It is really not convenient to tell others. Chapter 45. Do you think I really lie down? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seeing the small movements of Lu Xuan's hands, the three of them understood each other, looked at each other, and came to the corner of the hall. This young man keeps talking about secrets that are not told to others. He seems to want spiritual stones. What do you two think? I think we can give it a try. If the method he said is indeed effective, then we will benefit a lot. If we can really grow perfect quality firefly grass, we will make a lot of money, whether it is reputation or spiritual stones. What's more, since perfect quality spiritual fireflies can be cultivated, it is possible to cultivate perfect quality first grade or even second grade spiritual plants. I'm just afraid that if what he says has no effect, the spiritual stones will be wasted. Anyway, he is also the spiritual planter of Bai Chao Hall. If you are deceived, you can also find him through the hall. The three of them discussed quietly for a while and came to Lu Xuan. Fellow Daoist Lu, the three of us are going to give you 60 spiritual stones in exchange for the method of cultivating perfect quality Ling grass. What do you think? The method should not be taught lightly. The method of planting a perfect spiritual plant involves many things. I ask my three fellow Taoists to understand. Lu Xuan's tone gradually became looser, changing from the initial, secret not to be passed on, to the current, law cannot be passed on lightly. The meaning revealed is also obvious, need more money. The three of them went back to the corner, arguing quietly, and finally returned to Lu Xuan. 100 spirit stones, no more. You and I, fellow Daoist Lu, are both casual spiritual cultivators. We should know better that spirit stones are hard to come by. This is already the most spirit stones we can gather. The swarthy middle-aged monk said with a look of regret. Lu Xuan was not interested in knowing about the three people's wealth, but he also knew that 100 spirit stones was indeed not a small amount. You must know that the price of perfect quality fireflies is not much higher than other qualities. It ranges from dozens of broken spirits to 100 spirit stones. You don't know how much high-quality fireflies you can grow to make money. Those who are destined to teach the Dharma can meet three Taoist friends here, which shows that our fate is very deep. I will tell you how to cultivate them. The reason is very simple. According to the growth needs of the spiritual plants, the original large-scale application of spells is changed to the precise application of spells, such as the spiritual rain technique, the earth-drawing technique, the Mu Xing technique, etc., and they are properly used on the spiritual plants, so that they can grow. Get the best growth possible. As for the precise timing of performing the technique, you can only rely on fellow Taoists to explore it themselves. I see, that the three of them suddenly realized. Each spiritual plant will have different needs during its growth process. Even if there are only subtle differences, the accumulation will eventually affect the quality when mature. The careful cultivation of spiritual plants can solve these problems to the greatest extent. Fellow Taoist, I understand, that the three of them looked grateful. The method Lu Xuan said was indeed very simple and easy to do, but not many spiritual planters were willing to do it. After all, for the vast majority of monks, planting spiritual plants is just a cultivation skill, no different from refining elixirs and refining weapons. Cultivation is the most important thing. Sure enough, the three of them quickly realized this problem. If we really do what fellow Daoist Lu said, wouldn't it mean that most of our energy is spent on planting spiritual plants, leaving little time for practice? The dark middle-aged monk asked doubtfully. Indeed. Lu Xuan nodded. I knew that my talent was average and my practice was hopeless, so I gave up my practice and spent all my time and energy on cultivating spiritual plants. Only then did I achieve some insignificant results. As for the three fellow Taoists, whether they want to practice hard and further their cultivation, or whether they want to cultivate more high-quality spiritual plants and earn more spiritual stones, it depends on your respective choices. The three of them were thoughtful and left one by one. Lu Xuan looked at the backs of the three people leaving, and put the 100 spirit stones he had received into his storage bag with satisfaction. He took these 100 spiritual stones with peace of mind and without any guilt. The method, he told the three people, is indeed effective. After carefully cultivating spiritual plants, the quality of the spiritual plants planted will definitely improve to a certain extent, so that more spiritual stones can be earned. It's just that Lu Xuan concealed the most important point, which was that he could control and understand the instant status of the spiritual plants and adjust them at any time according to their needs. The three of them were unable to do this and could only rely on their own exploration. It was estimated that if they could not achieve perfect cultivation, it would be difficult to obtain spiritual plants of perfect quality. What's more, after choosing to cultivate spiritual plants in a refined way, they basically give up on cultivation. Unlike Lu Xuan, they are rewarded with white light groups and can obtain various treasures and cultivation levels. Do you think I really lie down? Lu Xuan smiled secretly. Actually, I'm trying to trap you to death. Not only are you good at growing spiritual plants, you are also good at earning spiritual stones. The thin old man came to Lu Xuan at some point and said with a chuckle. Isn't that right? Lu Xuan smiled proudly. 3 spiritual plant masters spent 100 spiritual stones for me in 3 sentences. Is this good enough? It is indeed good to earn 100 spirit stones, but if your unique method is spread, it will be more than worth the loss. Manager, he sounded a little dissatisfied, as if he was blaming Lu Xuan for leaking the method of growing perfect quality spiritual plants because of his petty profit. Don't worry, Mr. He. It's not that simple. The method is that method, but whether it can be done is another matter. Otherwise, there are so many spiritual planters, how come no one has discovered that careful cultivation can improve the quality of spiritual plants? But do you think how many spiritual planters can plant perfect quality plants? Lu Xuan said lightly. The thin old man nodded, feeling a little relieved. Come here and take away the 3 Qing tea seedlings. Lu Xuan followed the old man and came to a side room. The room was filled with fragrance. There were 3 flower pots with strange patterns on a wooden shelf in the middle. Inside the flower pot, there are 3 tea tree seedlings growing. The tea sapling is about 5 inches tall. Although it is a sapling, its branches are intertwined and have strong knots, giving it a strange sense of contrast. On the branches, there are 3 or 5 tender green tea leaves, trembling slightly, as weak as the wind, but you can feel a strong vitality from them. These are the 3 second-grade Qing tea seedlings. It is not a low-grade spiritual plant like the firefly grass. It is much more expensive. You must cultivate it well and not fail. Guanshi gave Lu Xuan serious instructions. Lu Xuan nodded heavily. How many spiritual stones are needed for 3 Qing cha seedlings? On the market, Qing tea seedlings usually cost 30 spiritual stones each, and because the saplings are rare and the tea leaves are precious, they are usually expensive but not marketable. You have an agreement with Baikatang. You can get the 3 tea seedlings at a low price. You can take them with you for 60 spirit stones. The price was discounted by more than 30%. Lu Xuan was even more grateful that he had established such a relatively free cooperation model with Baikatang. At the same time, he was even more grateful to the lean old man who brought him in. I'm going to make up for yesterday's update, and I would like to ask for a monthly pass, recommendation, and most importantly, follow-up reading. I will try my best to update 3 times on Tuesday. Please read to the last page of the latest chapter. Thank you very much. Ors. Chapter 46 Six-winged Concentric Insect, please follow up. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Come down. Lu Xuan returned to the yard with 3 Qing tea seedlings and said to the cloud-stepping lynx cub that had been lying on his shoulder. The cloud-walking lynx glanced at Lu Xuan coldly with its green eyes, then gently fell to the ground and walked straight towards the Lingquan pool. Lu Xuan came to the corner of the spiritual field, divided a large area of blank spiritual soil, and used the earth drawing technique. 3 small pits appeared in the spiritual field, and he gently placed 3 Qingmiao Lingcha seedlings in the pits. After planting Qingmialing tea, he concentrated on the small tea seedlings. The purest water can grow the best tea. Use spiritual spring water to water tea seedlings, the effect will be better. Qingmialing tea has a pure spirit among its branches and leaves. Don't let evil spirits and dirt stay near the tea seedlings for a long time, otherwise it will affect the normal growth of the tea seedlings. A thought flashed through Lu Xuan's mind, and he instantly understood the needs and precautions for the Qingmialing tea seedlings. Irrigation with spiritual spring water is not difficult. There happens to be a pool of spiritual spring in the yard, and a small amount of spiritual spring is constantly seeping out from the veins. It is more than enough to support 3 Qingmiao Lingcha seedlings. As for evil spirits and filthy things, I, Lu Xuan, am pure and clean, and I am righteous, so it is naturally impossible for me to be contaminated by those things. Well, in the future, we must try to keep Wang Shan and his wife from entering the courtyard as little as possible, so as not to contaminate my spiritual tea. After he cast a round of spiritual rain technique to nourish the Qingmialing tea seedlings, he came to the other side of the spiritual field. In the corner of the spiritual field, there is a mist ball half a foot long and wide. The mist was hazy, making it difficult to see clearly, and even spiritual consciousness felt slightly stagnant. The third-grade phantom smoke Luogua seems to turn into smoke, blending into the light mist. Hey, you even played hide-and-seek with me. Lu Xuan's mind gathered in the mist, and he kept groping, and soon learned the location of Huan Yen Luogua. A spiritual rain spell went down, and the light mist rolled slightly, and then condensed, revealing the seedlings of Huan Yen Luogua. After nourishing the Huan Yen Luogua, Lu Xuan inspected the spiritual field again to confirm that each spiritual plant was growing well before returning to the house. After returning to the house, he sat at the table and counted the spiritual stones in his hands. The 22 fireflies brought over this time were exchanged for a total of 77 spiritual stones, and the 3 Qingmiao Lingcha seedlings cost 60 spiritual stones. Fortunately, 3 spiritual plant masters took the initiative to offer 100 spiritual stones. So a total of nearly 120 spirit stones were earned, including what he has in his hand. His net worth is more than 200 spiritual stones. There are more than 200 spirit stones, and the spirit fire grass has entered a rapid maturity stage. The red cloud pine is about to mature, and the net worth is about to experience a surge. Lu Xuan looked at the small pile of spiritual stones on the table and thought happily. Brother Lu, are you here? Your sister-in-law has made a sumptuous table. Why don't you come over and have a drink with me? Outside the yard, Wang Shan's call came. Lu Xuan didn't know if it was his own illusion, but his voice sounded a little excited. The hairs on his hair stood on end, the cracked silver blade quietly split into dozens of silver-white fragments, and a second-grade sword Qi Thousand talisman slipped into the palm of his hand. Brother Wang, I'm a little tired from cultivating spiritual plants today and have a headache, so I won't come here. I'll try my sister-in-law's craftsmanship next time. He made up an excuse casually to deal with Wang Shan. Okay then, take a good rest yourself. When Wang Shan heard what Lu Xuan said, he left on his own. Wang family, there was a mahogany table in the middle of the hall, with more than 10 dishes on it, including rare ingredients such as monster meat. Wang Shan's concubine lowered her head and sat quietly at the table. Lu Xuan is a little uncomfortable and can't come over, so let's eat together. Well, listen to my husband. Wang replied softly, got up and served Wang Shan rice. Thank you, madam. Wang Shan looked at a pair of snow-white ri stretching towards him, feeling satisfied in his heart. When he bought this concubine on the black market, he originally just wanted to kill his lonely time, but unexpectedly, the effect was far beyond what he initially expected. After buying this concubine home, she was gentle and interesting, which made Wang Shan feel extremely happy and addicted to it. He even rarely went to Gulan, which he always loved to go to recently. More importantly, after a period of time, I vaguely felt that I was about to break through to the 6th level of Qi training. This made him love this concubine even more, asking for her day and night, and never missed Shu. "Madam, thank you for your hard work." He gently stroked the woman's soft and white hands and said softly. "My husband is reluctant to make me suffer, right?" Wang raised her head, her eyes sparkling, and there was a very charming mole under the corner of her eye. "That's for sure. It's too late to love my wife, so why am I willing to make you suffer? Then what if I get pregnant in the future? I heard that pregnancy will be very painful." Wang asked pitifully. When Wang Shan hesitated, Wang took out his little hand without leaving a trace. A smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. "How about, sir, please give birth to a child for me?" Wang Shan was about to refuse when he suddenly felt a strange desire coming from his belly, as if something was gestating inside. "Okay." This desire was so strong that it overwhelmed all his inner thoughts and spiritual consciousness, and he subconsciously agreed. As soon as he finished speaking, there was a gurgling sound in his abdomen, which continued to bulge at a speed visible to the naked eye, and the flesh and blood in his limbs, chest, and back continued to shrink. After a while, his abdomen had swelled into a big ball. Wang Shan's eyes were sunken, showing a hint of madness, and other parts of his body had become extremely shriveled, leaving only a piece of skin hanging on the bones. "Sir, give birth to a child for me." Two blushes appeared on Wang's face, and she looked at Wang Shan's huge belly with obsession. At the same time, just when Wang's body suddenly changed, the trunk of a spiritual tree quietly cracked open in the Wang family's yard, and an almost transparent insect shot out from the crack. The insect is about 2 inches long and has 6 wings. Each pair of wings is as thin as cicada wings and has faint patterns on them. At this time, the patterns on the wings were turning black as Wang Shan changed, causing the 6-winged insect to make an uneasy neighing sound. The law enforcement hall is more than 10 miles away. Ling Peng, who was an advanced Qi practitioner, looked at the equally uneasy 6-winged bug in front of him, with a trace of heaviness on his face. Finally it showed up. The strange insect in front of him is called the 6-winged Concentric Insect. It is extremely stealthy. If it senses an evil aura nearby, it will undergo a change. Another one within a certain distance can sense the opponent's abnormality at the same time and react violently. The stronger the evil spirit, the greater the reaction. After accidentally learning that Wang Mountain might be occupied by evil spirits, he secretly investigated and found nothing. He had to leave a 6-winged concentric insect in the Wang family's yard to monitor the Wang family's situation at any time. After waiting for a few days, Xie Sui finally showed up. "Senior brother, I have to trouble you to come with me. Judging from the reaction of this insect, I'm afraid I'm not absolutely sure to solve it." He turned to look at a young monk next to him. He had a lightning scar in the middle of his forehead, and occasionally he could see flashes of lightning. Chapter 47 Thunder, please follow up. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The young monk is named Lei Yin. He is at the 9th level of Qi training. He is only one step away from perfecting Qi training. He is good at thunder techniques. He is the person with the highest cultivation level in the law enforcement hall. He kills countless evil spirits on weekdays and has a great reputation. His eyes were golden yellow and full of power. He looked at the 6-winged concentric insect struggling in Ling Peng's hands and said coldly, "The evil heretic dares to reach out to the monks of our law enforcement hall. I don't care if he does it intentionally or unintentionally, I will make him pay a heavy price. Let's go." Before he finished speaking, Lei Yin stepped on a flying sword and shot out, followed closely by Ling Peng. Wang family. In the hall, Wang Shan's belly had stretched into a big ball. The big ball expanded and contracted as if his heart was beating, and his whole body became like a mummy, and the skin that was pulled down was constantly cracking, revealing the white bones inside. "Ah! I'm about to give birth." Wang looked at the big ball that was beating endlessly, showing a hint of motherly glory, holding her hands in her arms, trying to catch the baby that was about to burst out of the belly. Where did the evil spirit come from? How dare you run wild in Linyangfang City and die? Before he finished speaking, a huge fire dragon 2 to 3 feet long came quickly and rushed towards the big ball in Wang Shan's belly. Wow! A baby screamed from Wang Shan's belly, and the scream was filled with infinite resentment. A wall of gray-black spiritual energy condensed instantly, blocking the big ball from the fast-moving fire dragon. The fire dragon collided with the gray-black wall and turned into countless flames in an instant, falling on the furniture in the house and burning brightly. Ling Ping flew over the house, looked through the big hole opened by the fire dragon, and stared coldly at the two people living in the house who were in extremely strange conditions. He looked at the big ball that was beating faster and faster and the woman who was looking anxious, knowing that there was no need to delay, so he snorted coldly. A small fire lotus flew out of his body. The fire lotus has 3 colors. The rhizome is dark red with countless fine lines. The lotus leaves are fiery red with traces of magma flowing in the leaves. The lotus flower is light red and crystal clear like jade. The 3-color fire lotus was spinning and flying, and it was strong in the wind. It quickly grew in size, directly penetrated the gray-black aura wall, and was about to land on the big ball on Wang Shan's belly. The big ball seemed to feel the threat of the 3-color fire lotus. A huge crack appeared quickly, and 2 small black arms lay on both sides of the crack. The things inside can't wait for normal hatching and will be released in advance. The woman on the side also had a huge crack in her abdomen, which was empty except for strong resentment. The baby's arms lay on the edge of the crack, and then a more vicious cry sounded. Gray-black baby palms appeared on the 3-color fire lotus, and the flowing magma on the lotus leaves suddenly slowed down. You are still struggling in vain, just die. A cold voice sounded. Suddenly, the sky above the Wang family became completely white. The monks who were watching here instantly lost any vision. There was a rumble, thunder descended, and the entire Wang family turned into a sea of thunder and lightning. After calming down, the Wang family had become a black and gray area, and the big ball in Wang Shan's abdomen and the Wang family were smashed into powder under the thunder. The 2 people scanned the courtyard and the surrounding area with their spiritual senses, and after confirming that there was nothing unusual, they landed. Junior brother Ling, please send someone to check the surroundings later to prevent any evil spirits from being missed. The inspecting monks of the law enforcement hall must perform their duties faithfully and must not affect the normal lives of the surrounding monks, nor must they muddle through or be too casual. Yes, senior brother Lei, I will definitely catch him personally and I promise not to let go of any evil spirit. Ling Ping nodded heavily. Not far away, Lu Xuan looked at the Wang family courtyard with a solemn expression. He was aware of the thunder the moment it appeared and did not look directly at it, so his eyes were normal. The monk from the law enforcement hall released such a powerful spell, but it did not affect Lu Xuan's small courtyard, which shows his ability to control spiritual power. Lu Xuan stood ready, with the talisman and magic weapon in his hand beside him. Fortunately, the monks who came to deal with the evil spirits were very strong, and there were no remaining evil spirits that escaped into Lu Xuan's courtyard. It's better to report Dafa. Lu Xuan sighed. He had also heard the cry of the baby. Even if he was not the main target of the cry, he could not help but feel dizzy and slow in movement. If faced head-on, Lu Xuan really couldn't guarantee that he could easily deal with the evil spirit. Fortunately, he had resorted to the method of reporting before and used his strength to attract 2 high-level Qi training monks from the law enforcement hall to successfully deal with Wang Shan, who was invaded and polluted by evil spirits. When I reported the incident, in addition to explaining Wang Shan's anomalies, I also mentioned that Tan Xiaodong might be deliberately shielding him. Now that it has been confirmed that Wang Shan was invaded by evil spirits, it will be difficult for Tan Xiaodong to defend himself. Even if it turns out that he has nothing to do with the evil spirits, neglect of duty is still unavoidable. Lu Xuan sat at the table, motionless. Wang Shan and the evil spirits have just been solved and are in a sensitive period. Naturally, his neighbor will receive a lot of attention, so it is better not to take any action for the time being and just stay at home. Sure enough, within half an hour, 3 mid-level Qi training monks came to investigate. Fellow Taoist, please excuse me. The law enforcement hall found a powerful evil spirit nearby tonight. After solving the problem, in order to avoid the possibility of sneaking into the surrounding monks' homes, and to ensure the safety of all the monks, we had to conduct a detailed inspection. Please also ask fellow Taoist forgive me. The leader smiled and said to Lu Xuan. 3 mid-level Qi training monks, what a huge battle. Lu Xuan sighed secretly and replied. It's okay. Fellow Taoist, feel free to check. I don't have any objections. Thank you, fellow Taoist, for your cooperation. The leading monk bowed his hands towards Lu Xuan and took out a white jade Buddha statue from his storage bag. The Buddha statue is about 3 inches tall, twirling its fingers and smiling, with a layer of misty spiritual light outside. The monk circulated the spiritual energy in his body, took seals and cast spells, and a stream of spiritual energy hit the surface of the Buddha statue. Suddenly, the layer of misty spiritual light surged, like ripples, sweeping across Lu Xuan's body and the courtyard where he was. When the faint spiritual light swept across, Lu Xuan felt that he instantly became clean and clear, and his heart was like a mirror, free from dust. After the spiritual light swept across the entire courtyard, it shrank back into the Buddha statue. The Buddha statue was still shining with a dim spiritual light, without any abnormalities. Okay, I didn't find anything unusual. I'm sorry to bother you, fellow Taoist. The leading monk collected the white jade Buddha statue and rushed to the other house with the other 2 people. Is this good? Lu Xuan was confused. He had originally prepared for the possibility that the spiritual plants in the spiritual field would be exposed, but he didn't expect that the inspection methods of the monks of the law enforcement hall were so simple. So, that Tan Xiaodong did have the idea of knocking me off last time. Seeing as I am just a casual cultivator at the 3rd level of Qi training, I want to enter the house and search carefully under the guise of inspection. It's just that he probably didn't expect what kind of price he would pay for that little spiritual stone. Lu Xuan smiled and returned to the house. Chapter 46 is under review. I'm dizzy. Chapter 48 When Pine Nuts Are Ripe. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Linyangfang City Center. In the dim room, 7 or 8 babies were crawling around randomly. The baby is an abnormal blue-black color, with black air oozing out of the body from time to time. The baby has small limbs, sharp teeth, and bulging pupils, giving people a ferocious look. They have agility that is completely inconsistent with their stature. If they encounter each other occasionally, they will bite each other fiercely. When they bite the painful area, they will make vicious screams from time to time, making them dizzy. In the corner of the room, 2 beautiful girls sat quietly without saying a word, with a smile on their faces and a motherly glow in their expressions. Their abdomens were bulging high, like big rubber balls. One of them had a huge crack in his belly, and a bulging gray eye stared at the outside world through the crack, as if it would crawl out of his belly at any time. Who killed my beloved evil infant? On a big bed made of ice, a monk sat up straight. His body was wrapped in strong resentment. From time to time, a blurry face flew out of the resentment, wailing silently in pain. The 7 or 8 babies who were fighting and biting in the room instantly fell silent, as quiet as a chill, as if they were very afraid of this person. The 2 girls in the corner still kept their smiles and remained motionless. The gray eyeballs and the slits in their abdomens slowly retreated into the depths. This way, my confidence in condensing the evil infant pill will be even smaller. Damn it. The resentment in the monk kept rising, just like the anger in his heart. He has been in the perfect stage of Qi training for a long time. He tried twice to break through the foundation building, but both ended in failure. Occasionally, I obtained an evil method for refining evil infant pill from a secret realm. After taking the refined elixir, the probability of breaking through the foundation building stage will increase by 10 to 20%, according to the evil law records. He collected hundreds of resentful souls and condensed them into evil fetuses. Then he found more than 10 girls, controlled them with secret methods, and injected the evil fetuses into the girls' bodies. Then it is sold in various ways. After the target monk buys it, when the 2 are happy, the evil fetus will merge into the other person's body silently. Since the evil fetus itself is a kind of evil treasure, the fusion process will enhance the spiritual energy in the monk's body, giving him the illusion of a sharp increase in cultivation, and he will become more focused on dual cultivation. When the evil infant is completely integrated with the monk, when the time is right, it will seize all the spiritual power, flesh and blood essence from the monk's body and turn it into an evil infant. after the evil infant absorbs the monk into a mummy, he will break out of his body and return to the girl's body. He will use his body to cover up his evil aura and secretly return to the place where he lives. The whole process is extremely secretive. When the evil fetus is integrated into the monk's body, it is difficult to detect the monk's abnormality with ordinary evil-dispelling talismans, magic weapons, etc. Only during the short period of time when it breaks out of the body, a little breath will be revealed, but as long as you don't pay attention all the time, the strangeness in that short period of time will usually not be noticed by anyone. But despite being so cautious, an evil infant was still killed, which made his confidence in condensing the evil infant pill even smaller, making it more difficult to break through to the foundation building stage. To him, this was tantamount to a blood feud. It seems that we need to find a few more young female Qi practitioners, parasitize evil fetuses in their bodies, and put them on the black market, waiting for the monks to buy them. Just because an evil baby is discovered, it probably won't go as smoothly as the first time. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but burst into anger, and his resentment almost turned into reality, scaring the 7 or 8 evil babies next to him so that they didn't dare to move. Without the threat of evil spirits from Wang Shan, Lu Xuan felt much more relaxed both physically and mentally, and devoted himself to cultivating the many spiritual plants in the spiritual field. After the inexplicable evil spirits appeared, the law enforcement hall monitored the area where he lived. Very strictly, conducting inspections from time to time, and being extremely careful about the entry and exit of monks in the area. However, this did not have much impact on Lu Xuan. Anyway, he basically stayed in the yard, cultivating spiritual plants, and occasionally teasing the cloud-walking lynx and red-bearded carp. He paid a little attention to the monks from the law enforcement hall who came to check. Among the more than 10 intermediate Qi training monks who appeared, there was no figure of Tan Xiaodong. Lu Xuan deduced that it was probably the information attached to the last report that played a role. He was implicated. Thinking of this, his mood became even better, and he felt quite contented when planting the spiritual field. In the early morning, the light fog has not dissipated. The 3-foot-tall grass puppet walked out of the mist and patrolled the spiritual field all night. The dry gray grass on its body was soaked by the mist. What a good employee of mine. Lu Xuan held a white jade thin-necked bottle and sighed leisurely, then entered the spiritual field and came to the edge of the spiritual spring. 3 plump red-whiskered carp saw his familiar figure, thinking they could eat the zerg, and swam over with a flick of their tails. 6 slender red whiskers trailed beside him, like 6 red ribbons, rippling in the spiritual spring pool. Lu Xuan sprinkled a handful of spiritual rice, ignored it, and filled half a bottle of spiritual spring water in a white jade bottle. A black shadow flashed. The cloud-walking lynx cub jumped up. Its white cloud-like soles stepped on the water, grabbed the long beard of a red-bearded carp, and pulled it out of the water. The cub flew across the water, leaving only the red-bearded carp flipping in the air, jumping randomly and falling into the spiritual spring pool, causing ripples. The other 2 red-whiskered carps were surprised and quickly dived into the bottom of the Lingquan pond. Their movements were extremely large, making the ripples on the water surface more intense and obvious. The pure white lotus leaves in the center of the Lingquan pond are swaying gently under the impact of the water waves, looking as fragile as the wind. You guys are so dishonest. You only catch fish, but you also prevent my snow lotus from growing properly. I will deduct a piece of agouti jerky from you at noon. Seeing this, Lu Xuan on the side reached out and patted the pointed ears of the cloud-walking lynx cub, threateningly. Ouched up when he heard that the food was withheld. The cub, which had always maintained a cold appearance, couldn't help but growl. It was okay not to make a sound. Once he made a sound, Lu Xuan heard his coquettish clipping sound and became more determined to tuck the dried meat. Then, he took the spiritual spring water to the side of 3 Qingmiao Ling tea plants. His spiritual power controlled the spring water, turning it into thin streams and pouring into the tea tree seedlings. After watering the Qingmiao Ling tea seedlings, he patrolled around the Ling Tian. The 20 plants that were trying to tangle together were ruthlessly separated. As the blood jade ginseng grew rapidly, their speed and willingness to get closer to each other also increased a lot. This time, if Lu Xuan hadn't stopped them, there might have been a dozen blood jade ginsengs mixed together. It almost led to a large-scale mass ginseng movement. After separating the blood jade ginseng, he gave the sword grass 2 Vingjin sword techniques to let it absorb the sharp sword intent of the sword energy. The dark marrow mushroom under the wooden shed has adjusted the position of the decaying spiritual wood so that it can better absorb the decaying spiritual power in it. I also caught the phantom smoke Luo hidden in the thick white mist. A few days later, the smoke around it expanded a bit. Finally, when I came to the red pine tree that was about to mature, my mind focused on the branches and leaves. Hey, there is actually a ripe pine nut. As thoughts flashed through his mind, Lu Xuan said in surprise. Chapter 49 Lihuo Sword. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Among the dense and lush slender fiery red pine leaves, 5 pine nuts are half hidden, one of which is already mature. The red pine cone skin on the outside is like fish scales, surrounding the pine nuts inside layer by layer from bottom to top. There are not many pine nuts in the center, more than 20, about the size of a fingertip, like pomegranate kernels. It is light red in color, crystal clear, and overflowing with fragrance. The smell of it makes people move their index fingers and salivate. His mind focused on the ripe red cloud pine nuts, and Lu Xuan immediately got detailed information about it. Red cloud pine nuts are derived from the first-grade spiritual plant red cloud pine. They contain rich spiritual power. Low-level and mid-level monks can slightly improve their cultivation after practicing Qi. Its taste is sweet and refreshing, and it lasts a long time. It is very popular among many female nuns. Lu Xuan peeled off the ripe red cloud pine nuts and put them into a special container with relevant runes drawn on it to ensure the freshness of the pine nuts to the greatest extent. While peeling the pine nuts, he also learned that the pine nuts he had picked were of good quality. The white light group naturally appears on the picked part of the red cloud pine, flickering slightly. Lu Xuan's heart was agitated. This was the first mature first-grade spiritual plant he had harvested. Before, both the spirit fire grass and the moon eclipse fruit were low-grade spiritual plants, and their value was much lower than that of the red cloud pine. Harvest a red cloud pine nut and obtain the second-grade flying sword Lihuo sword. The white light group turned into countless light spots and poured into Lu Xuan's body, and then a thought flashed through his mind. A flying sword quietly appeared in his hand. The flying sword is about 3 feet long. The sword is light and fiery red in color. There are dark red veins on the blade. When shaking, tiny flames fly out from the blade. Second-grade flying sword, Lu Xuan couldn't help but exclaimed. This was the first second-grade magic weapon he had obtained in his cultivation career. When he didn't get the magic of Ling Tian, he wanted to buy a sword talisman, but he had to dig and save for a long time before he could buy it. But now, there are not only treasures such as the silver blade and the thunder fire bead, there are even more talismans. The previously hard-to-obtain sword Qi talisman and evil-dispelling talisman have been piled up. There are even 2 second-grade sword Qi 10,000 talismans. Now, I have obtained another second-grade magic weapon, the Lihuo sword. Planting a spiritual field will bring you many opportunities. I don't like exploring secret places, I don't like fighting for treasures, I just like to cultivate flowers and plants. The appearance of the second-grade Lihuo sword made Lu Xuan look forward to the remaining 4 red cloud pine nuts even more, and at the same time, he became more determined to farm quietly. He put the Lihuo sword into his storage bag and came to the area where the Lingiinko was. There are still 65 fireflies left out of 100, and they have entered the stage of rapid maturity. The slender leaves are dotted with fluorescent lights, which are extremely eye-catching even in the daytime. Lu Xuan picked 14 mature fireflies at once. Among them, 4 are of good quality, 7 are of superior quality, the remaining 3 are of perfect quality, and none are of ordinary quality. He packed 14 mature fireflies in white jade boxes to prevent them from losing their vitality. Looking towards the spiritual field, 14 white light groups came quietly. Harvest a firefly plant and gain 6 months of cultivation. Asterisk 2. Harvest a spirit firefly grass and obtain the September cultivation level. Harvest 1 Lingyin grass and gain 1 year of cultivation. Among them, 4 white light groups brought cultivation rewards, with a total of 3 years of cultivation. Thoughts flashed through his mind, and waves of powerful spiritual power appeared in Lu Xuan's body. There was a crazy surge in his dantian and meridians. He clenched his teeth and tried his best to operate the technique. After a while, the spiritual power in the body gradually calmed down. After many days of hard training, plus the little cultivation rewards he brought this time and before, Lu Xuan finally broke through to the 6th level of Qi training. God rewards hard work, so I take some time off from my busy schedule, plant spiritual fields, and seize every moment of rest to practice hard. The achievements I have achieved today are inseparable from my hard work. Lu Xuan sighed secretly. Harvest a spirit firefly grass and obtain a first-grade talisman sword Qi talisman. Asterisk 3. Harvest a spirit firefly grass and obtain a first-grade talisman to dispel evil. Asterisk 2. Among them, the rewards brought by 5 white light groups were first-grade talismans, which made Lu Xuan's storage bag have more talismans in stock. Harvest 1 Ling Ginkgo plant and obtain 1 first-grade Peiyuan pill. Asterisk 3. Harvest a Ling Ginkgo plant and obtain a first-grade Yuan Pui Yuan elixir recipe. Harvest 1 Lingying grass and get a drop of grass Ling Yuan liquid. There were 5 white light groups left, and 3 pills of cultivating the essence were obtained. The other 2, presumably because the spirit firefly grass was of perfect quality, one produced a pill recipe, and the other was the treasure grass spirit essence liquid. Lu Xuan absorbed the Peiyuan pill recipe, and immediately he had a deeper understanding of refining the Peiyuan pill. The material handling, dosage, refining temperature, timing of taking the pill, etc. all improved a lot. In terms of refining Peiyuan Dan, although he has not yet had any actual combat experience, he is already a solid theoretical master. A drop of green semi-solidified liquid appeared in Lu Xuan's hand. It was Chao Ling Yuan liquid, which contained a large amount of plant essence. Lu Xuan called the grass puppet over and stuffed the green liquid into the gray grass tumor on its head. Not long after it was inserted, the gray grass knots turned green at a speed visible to the naked eye, just like old trees sprouting new shoots, glowing with rich vitality. After eating and drinking enough, you will have more strength to guard the spiritual field. Lu Xuan looked at the grass puppet with a patch of green on his head and said with a smile. Fellow Daoist Lu, friend Lu, are you there? Outside the house, a somewhat familiar voice came. Lu Xuan recalled it briefly and quickly recognized it as a monk named Wu nearby. He was quite old and liked the things in the cup. He once came to the yard and asked Lu Xuan if he had planted anything. A spiritual plant suitable for wine making. Fellow Daoist Wu, I'm here, what can I do? It's nothing serious. It's just that the scoundrels in the law enforcement hall have finally left in the past few days. I feel happy and want to find someone to have a drink with, so I thought of you, Mr. Lu. Lu Xuan opened the courtyard door and said to the monk surnamed Wu with a smile. Okay, I'll clean up and come have a drink with you, fellow Daoist Wu. The old man surnamed Wu nodded and left. Lu Xuan returned to the house, just in case something unexpected happened, and hid the thunder and fire beads and the thousands of sword energy talismans in his clothes. The old man surnamed Wu is at the 4th level of Qi training. If someone harbors evil intentions towards him, even if he has something to hide, Lu Xuan is confident that he has many talismans and magic weapons in hand to handle it. After thinking for a while, he called the cloud-stepping lynx over again. The lynx cub had an expressionless face, staring with a pair of green eyes, but inwardly, it jumped onto Lu Xuan's shoulders with joy, and 4 white clouds tightly pulled Lu Xuan's robe. Lu Xuan was completely relieved now. With the miraculous eyes of the cloud-stepping lynx, the evil spirits that ordinary monks could hardly detect could not escape, and Lu Xuan's safety was further guaranteed. He took the lynx cub with him, activated the formation, and walked towards the monk surnamed Wu's house. It just so happened that he also wanted to ask the old man surnamed Wu something. It is already difficult to see unknown spiritual seeds in the casual cultivator market. Although there are many varieties of spiritual seeds in large shops, most of them are expensive and the grade is not high. Most of them are first grade and non-grade. It is difficult to satisfy Lu Xuan, who has increasingly high standards. He then had the idea of going to the mysterious black market in Fengshe to take a look, and at the same time, he took action to get rid of some things in his hands. The old man surnamed Wu has good cultivation and has stayed in the market for a long enough time. He must have a lot of knowledge about the black market. Chapter 50 Paper Kite. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Come on, fellow Daoist Lu, have a taste of my aged wine that has been around for nearly 10 years. At the home of the monks surnamed Wu, the two of them were drinking to their heart's content. Lu Xuan shook the silver wine glass in his hand. The golden spirit wine in the glass rose and fell with his movements, and a mellow and thick wine smell escaped. I really didn't expect that Wang Shan, who is a patrolman of the law enforcement hall, would be contaminated by evil spirits. Fortunately, it was discovered early and it did not affect us neighbors. The monk surnamed Wu put down his wine glass and couldn't help but feel scared when he thought of the possible consequences. Yes, if the evil spirits were not discovered and eliminated in time, it would be difficult for those of us living nearby to ensure our own safety. Lu Xuan agreed. Those trash from the law enforcement hall have been staying here for a while. It's not convenient for them to do anything. Don't even look at it. We can't even protect our own people and are invaded by evil spirits. What's the use of taking care of us? It's better to conduct a thorough internal investigation. Maybe we can find out a few more. That the old man surnamed Wu was obviously a little drunk and his eyes were blurred. Friend Daoist Lu, why don't you plant those spiritual plants suitable for brewing spiritual wine? If you do, I will buy as many as you can. That while talking, the monk surnamed Wu brought the topic to Lu Xuan. I have been considering it recently, but the area of the spiritual field in the courtyard is too small. There is no spare space to plant other spiritual plants, and I don't have the energy to cultivate other spiritual plants for the time being. If you have that plan, you must come to Wu Dao Yu for cooperation. The two continued drinking. By the way, fellow Daoist Wu, do you know about the black market in Sanxiufang City? Lu Xuan asked the old man. Black market? What, you want to enter? I have this idea, but I have never entered it before and don't know much about it. Fellow Daoist Wu, you have superb cultivation and have stayed in Fang City for a long time, so I would like to ask you about the relevant situation, fellow Daoist Wu. Lu Xuan smiled. I did enter a few times, the most recent one was about 2 years ago. The old man sobered up a little from his drunkenness and showed an expression of reminiscence. The black market is located in the center of Fang City. It is rumored that it is managed by several underground forces in Fang City, but I guess there is the shadow of one or several big families in Fang City behind it. The square market was originally built on an abandoned secret realm. The black market is located in a natural maze. You can only enter it after purchasing a guide talisman with several spiritual stones. It's called the black market, which is very different from the casual cultivator market and those big shops. The people who appear there are generally invisible. The monks usually hide their appearance or cultivation when they enter it. The same is true for the goods inside. There will be many treasures that are difficult to see in markets and shops. Their origins are unknown. Some of them are made after killing people and cannot be sold normally. There are also all kinds of weird and strange materials, and there are many evil things. Lu Xuan nodded from time to time. Then if ordinary cultivators enter the black market, can their safety be guaranteed? It's definitely safe inside. It's guarded by powerful monks. It's rare to hear of anyone making trouble inside. As for the outside, it is not under the jurisdiction of the black market. Among the monks who go in and out of the black market, there are many vicious people, or evil cultivators who practice evil techniques, so the safety is much lower than inside. Occasionally, there will be murders and treasure grabbing. Event. Under normal circumstances, there is no problem. After all, the black market is in the center of the city. Anyway, I went there more than once when I was training at a low level, and I didn't encounter any unexpected situations. If you really want to enter, just be cautious. If you are really worried, you can enter with a familiar monk. I've learned a lesson. Thank you Daoist Wu for letting me know this important information. The old man surnamed Wu waved his hand. These are nothing, you can get them by asking outside. The two had an average friendship, and he did not ask Lu Xuan about the purpose of entering the black market. Lu Xuan stayed for a while longer, and then returned to his home with the cloud-walking lynx cub that had been staying quietly on his shoulder. He pondered for a moment and decided to take a trip to the black market. According to what the old man surnamed Wu said, there will be many strange things on the black market, so the possibility of finding unknown spiritual seeds is greater than in the casual cultivator market. Moreover, entering and exiting the black market was generally relatively safe. Lu Xuan felt that as long as he did not expose his belongings or cause trouble, he would be able to escape unscathed. What's more, he has full confidence in his current strength, the 6th level of Qi training, the Gengjin sword technique that is close to the master level, the 1st grade special magic weapon splitting silver blade, 2 2nd grade sword energy thousands of talismans, the 2nd grade flying sword Lihuo sword, the 1st grade treasure thunder fire bead, and many more. Talisman. Even if he faced a high-level Qi training monk, Lu Xuan was quite sure of killing him. On the 2nd day, Lu Xuan inspected the spiritual field to keep all the spiritual plants in the best condition, and then went to the black market according to the location provided by the monk surnamed Wu. Because the cloud-stepping lynx cub was too obvious and there was no suitable way to cover it up, Lu Xuan kept it at home. After learning that she could not follow Lu Xuan out, the cloud-stepping lynx stared at Lu Xuan with a pair of green eyes, motionless. Lu Xuan's mind was focused on its body, and he felt that the cub seemed to be afraid that he would abandon it, and his heart was full of helplessness and fear. This made Lu Xuan almost relent, but in the end, considering the possibility of exposing his true identity, he finally comforted him for a while, leaving the cloud-taking lynx with a pile of dried meat sticks and went alone. About half an hour later, Lu Xuan arrived outside the black market. Although the black market is close to the city center, the surrounding area is quite deserted. There are no courtyard houses. There are only a few monks on the road who are in a hurry and wary of each other. The entire black market was shrouded in a thick black mist. When the spiritual sense penetrated into the black mist, it seemed as if it was hindered by something, making it difficult to move. Lu Xuan wore a simple mask on his face and came to the monk guarding the entrance to the black market. Along the way, he saw that almost all the monks were dressed like him. Most of them wore masks or cloth scarves on their faces, while a few used special magic weapons to cover their faces. There were also a few who didn't care much and showed their true colors, but whether they were Lu Xuan's true identity is unknown. He observed the movements of the monk in front and handed 3 spiritual stones to the entrance, in front of a monk covered in black mist. Immediately, he got a guide with black runes drawn on it, and a slightly moving black arrow on it. Entering the black mist, everything in front of him was hazy, and the black arrow flashed with light. He kept adjusting the direction of the arrow slightly, leading Lu Xuan forward in the black mist. After a while, Lu Xuan felt refreshed and walked through the black mist to the black market. The black market was wider than he imagined. There were 100 or 200 monks as far as he could see. The scene was relatively quiet, with only slight discussions. The sky above the black market seemed to be covered by a thick black cloud. In the high sky, there were a dozen black paper kites flying slowly. The paper kite is made of unknown materials. At first glance, it looks like a monster skin floating in the sky. As he flew over Lu Xuan's head, he could feel an evil thought sweeping through his body, causing dense goosebumps to appear on Lu Xuan's skin.